wish into the dark, far across the galaxy is where our dreams would be. And it seems to me astrology has got its plans for me. I just gotta believe. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Ooh, darkness, darkness. Into the light. Help me, help me. Mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Falling star, I burn alone. Got a heart without a home.
Some see me as a cynic. They come in for the base, but they stay for the acidic. I've been on that paper chase, keeping pace for a minute, and I'm aiming to appreciate the moment while I'm in it. Genesis, a menace on the mic, so sinister. You might get some venom from the bites I administer. Winner from the start, superstar with the finisher. I got a decent heart, but I'm hardly a minister. A bardic apprentice, a menacing as a lamb. Worm like I'm Dennis, I don't dare to give a damn. Firm in the philosophy, I am who I am. I'm a carbon commodity, I need to be verified on the gram. Tightrope walking the id and the superego. Lifeboat liable to fire the torpedoes. Keeping to the credo, I'm free to achieve the dream, or at the very least I can release some of my steam. Alignment is just a part of the process, and lately I've been making some progress. I'm finding the defining the balance of good and evil in people is nearly an impossible conquest. Regardless, stay CG, only way I know how to be. When I combine my child with OTIC, an outlaw like I'm Robin H. Double OD. I made it through the rubble, now they got trouble with me. So we're supposed to be sophisticated, then why is 67% of the population undereducated? Emotionally incapacitated, historically opinionated characters end up assassinated. And that's okay with the people faking it day to day, capitalizing on capitalism. It's pay to play, waiting for data to make it fade away. Whether you admit it, we're witnessing biological decay of the human race. We're going to a new place, I really hope it comes soon. I don't do space, two-faced, treble and bass, running the rebel base, outpacing enemies in the interface. In your face like a zygomatic arch, I got them in lockstep, meaning my melodramatic march is effective, albeit rather subjective. I encourage you to pursue a new perspective. Alignment is just a part of the process, and lately I've been making some progress. I'm finding the defining the balance of good and evil in people is nearly an impossible conquest. Regardless, stay CG, only way I know how to be. When I combine my child with OTIC, an outlaw like I'm Robin H-double-O-D. I made it through the rubble, now they got trouble with Since the day I was born, I've been non-conforming. I put myself in a position to make a living performing. Haters should consider this a form of warning. I've been swarming on them like a storm, I'm global warming. I'm not the one, done been through too much madness.
The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to the Bard's Playhouse presents Tales from Shadow Valley, Season 2, Episode 10, The Road to Wyvernsting. Thank you all so much for joining us. Now let's bring in our wonderful cast. We have Eldritch as Khan the Bloody Rizzolo.
It's great to be here.
Ash as Queen Danny.
Guys.
Shane as Umbramancer Zavid.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
And Abe as Sir Demirius, Saren Ray's Grief.
The dawn has not been kind to me today.
You look great though, Demirius.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
all all here though, right? That's what
Yeah.
matters. As always, I'm Lumpy Bronzearm, and I'll be your DM for today. Last time, Lux Et Umbra was ambushed within the dwarven sky fortress of Bryn Bardur. A fear-eating demon attacked with a pair of swirling bonados. Aided by their new undead ooze friend Belinus Toughgort, the group fought valiantly. Khan was shoved from a high walkway, taking a hard fall, but parkoured back into the fray, slicing up her foe. As he ain't afraid of no ghost, Demirius cut up a summoned poltergeist in half with a single swing of Saren Ray's Grief. Zavid, being a necromancer surrounded by the bones of thousands and using secret forbidden magic, conjured a skeletal ankylosaurus named Earl. The fear demon stood no chance against the ferocity of Lux Et Umbra. After the fray, Belinus led the group down deeper into Bryn Bardur. Along the way, much was learned about the Sky Citadel, the battle that caused its loss, and the history of the quest for Sky. Belinus offered up some of the magical trinkets her ooze has collected over the centuries, and in exchange Zavid gave the lonely undead wizard some much-desired news from the outside world and a discourse in magic. As the group rounded a corner and down a staircase, a cavern opened up before them and a terrifying sight was to be seen. Across a river of slow-flowing lava was the claw-gouged sleeping spot of a gargantuan dragon. However, Belinus claimed to have never seen one in all her time within the mountain fortress. The mystery was soon solved when Lux Et Umbra discovered the dragon's hoard, a room filled with scrying orbs. It did not take long to determine that this was the lair of Gwenestraza, the gold dragon mate of Betelgetrax the Silver. Each orb showed a burial mound of differing kinds, saved 3. Betelgetrax enjoying a cold one back in Fogton, a lone living orc named Gazkul Daemonkiller, and Cyprogrod the Copper, metallized, chained, and furious. With each passing moment, Belkzen reveals its past, its secrets, and its horrors. That's where we're coming back in today. The group has finally made it to the bottom of Bryn Bardur, the dwarven sky citadel, and you have just come out, and it is snowing. It is the middle of the night. The moon is high and bright in the sky, but it has been a very, very long day. As you started your morning in Fogton, made your way up an entire mountain, teleported to a new land, fought a giant metal eagle, met a race of otter people, and then walked down an entire mountain again. But this is where we come in today.
Also, just for anyone who forgot, we saw an orb that was showing our buddy Betelgetrax actually going down and enjoying a cold one with people. And I promptly destroyed the orb so no one could spy on him if they ever found that orb. Because I felt like that would be a bad idea.
That's right. And I have that picture somewhere. But yeah, but yes, you did destroy the scrying orb that had Betelgetrax inside of it, because as Demirius discovered, these orbs can be used as some sort of a compass to the person inside. I believe you took the Cyprogrod the Copper orb and the Gazkul Daemonkiller orb, correct? Both of those?
I believe so, yeah, because we fixed the Supergirl orb, and I made a brief contact. The jury's still out if it was good or bad. We will see.
Correct. You saw some pretty horrifying things. To recap kind of on that, you did see Cyprogrod the Copper but with every scale replaced with a metal plate. And he was chained to a wall inside some sort of an industrial area.
And it wasn't even copper that they replaced it with, which seems insulting when you think about it. It's hardly reciprocal to copper anymore. It's reciprocal to aluminum.
The mithril.
Right.
Shoot. Coming out the mountain. It's been a busy day and it's snowing and stuff. I don't know if we should perhaps go back inside the cave and at least rest for a little bit before we journey through the night in a mountain that we're unfamiliar with.
What's the worst that could happen?
While I do believe it is,
Have you been around us?
I think it is usually a good idea to be cautious. I feel that if we were to linger, that would be more dangerous. We have a ways to go to reach our goal. We should not. Time is of the essence, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But that's my vote.
We need to get this sibling and stop the world from ending and yeah.
I suppose if you put it that way.
Unless, do you need a rest? Do you need to sit down for a minute?
Well, I do.
You want a hot pocket?
What?
A hot pocket. I made these amazing little things. They're little pastries, and I shoved a bunch of cheese and dried meats, and I prestidigitated it to warm it up, and it's a hot pocket.
But why do you call it that? Do you put it in your pocket afterwards?
You could. It's portable. So, like, you see my dress, it has pockets. So, here it is. Hot, and it's hot. It's a hot, and you can put it in your pocket.
Oh, does it warm up your hands when you put it in your pocket?
Maybe. But it's more meant for, like, your stomach.
Oh.
For, like, food reasons. Here you go. Con. I looked up the wrong. Here you go, Con. I made you one.
Thank you. I will try this mysterious bucket pastry.
Yeah.
And you take a bite, and the outside is nuclear lava hot, but the inside is still kind of frozen.
Did I not?
Well, I look at my invention, the toaster strudel in my bag, and I'm like, looks like we've got some competition. I keep it to myself.
Daddy, I think you forgot to prestidigitate the inside of this concoction.
Maybe I should have left it there for like another 3 more minutes. Okay.
Maybe.
Here, hold it. Prestidigitate. It's warmer.
I don't know if I want one of those. She looks like she's in pain.
With the secondary warming, it has spread out a little more evenly, and the toaster pastry is a little better. The pocket pizza.
I'll pass the toaster strudel to Khan. Be like, this is a lot better than what you just had, but don't show anyone.
It is significantly better. The icing is sweet and decadent, and the pastry is flaky.
I should say it's completely frozen. So if you take a bite out of it, I'll be like, it's called a toaster strudel. You're supposed to toast it first. Save it for later.
I'm sorry. Is it just hand all the snacks to Con Day?
You got those big cheeks.
I also have frozen waffles. Would you want one of those?
No, why not?
I think I got some trail mix.
Oh, it just never ends, does it?
I'm just looking over at Ares, who's drooling like in the thing. Like, why not me? Why is everyone feeding Khan? I'll throw my last toaster strudel to Ares.
Ares devours it hungrily, while Arwen is just kind of laughing at the whole situation.
Yeah.
Look at these hosers over there.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Ares. Ares can eat kind of anything, but Arwen is an obligate carnivore. It's meat or nothing else.
Both of those things are correct. Oh, Lordy.
Plus, she's a cat. She's a little more picky.
Let's get going.
It's like we have places to go.
Alrighty. So give me perception checks in the tower, please. And I'll roll for Danny.
Wait. No, I didn't need the initiative perception.
That's okay.
Why is your knife out, Skan? Why are you approaching me like that, Gon?
Because
I know
if
you
I
have
can...
no testosterone.
No!
You're not shouting!
I cannot kick your ass without approaching you. Demirius, actually. As you're kind of all walking across here, you look out to the east of you is nothing but sheer mountain face, as high up as you can see, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet straight up into the air. Out to the west, off of that little ledge, you can see expansive plains really far out, with kind of a very shallow snaking river down most of it, and some sand dunes. But this is clearly like a merchant path. You can see ruts in a sort of a road. But with your perception check, you hear out in the distance some sounds of like disturbance. There's crashing, there's probably yelling. You can't really make it out. It's pretty far off, but you hear some commotion going off sort of in those hills in the kind of the direction of west.
And that's not where we were coming from. That's not where our otter friends are.
That is correct.
Okay.
Your otter friends are east and straight up. Where I'm describing is west straight out.
Oh.
So yeah, otters are... This has nothing to do with the otters. Yes.
And only Demirius heard that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think as I'm walking down the path, like, I'll start hearing a little bit. These guys are like talking about strudels and hot pockets. I'll put my hand up and like kind of crouch down and like try to put my head towards the direction and try to pick up anything, but I guess I'll
Give
just
me
get that little bit.
another perception with a +2 since you're taking the moment to assess the situation and throw it in the tower.
Okay.
Taking the time to really, and you even tell your allies shh for a moment. You kind of do the Aragorn thing, but you hit your ear to a rock, and you're really, the training your mother Maribel gave you as a child is really kind of kicking in the last couple of days. You haven't actively, you've been so busy with your paladin studies and your cleric studies that your ranger abilities have really gone by the wayside, but they're really coming in handy lately here in Belkson. And with that perception roll, you were able to actually pick up yelling and screaming and the sounds of breaking wood. But again, it's pretty far off. You're half elf, correct? Not full elf?
Yeah, half.
Yeah, your half elf ears are really straining to pick this up, but you manage it.
Yeah. I'll turn to them.
What is it?
Something's going on. Someone's getting attacked or some sort of fight. There's screaming and cracking. I don't know. It's pretty far off though.
Do you think we need to intervene?
I don't even understand how we can get there right now. I mean, we're kind of up in the mountains. This pass, who knows where it's gonna lead.
Well, and I pull out the snap leaf that I got.
We could take a jump, and I can summon Trot and try to haul ass there. Someone can ride Ares, someone can ride Arwen. If we need to.
I also have a snap leaf.
You guys have been holding on to those for a long time.
Yes. I was like, I don't look at my inventory enough. There's cool stuff in here I should remember that I have.
Yeah, actually, I think we got one.
I love this
going
plan.
too.
I want you guys to keep going with this.
It only affects myself, unfortunately, but if there's a way that anyone else can descend the mountain without hurting themselves.
I have one as well.
Yeah. I think everyone does. I have
I
one.
think all of you have a snap leaf. Yeah. I don't even remember
Does
when I gave
Reese
you those.
does
I don't
Reese have
remember.
anything?
It was the Pride Festival.
Oh, you're right. It was the
Ah.
Pride Festival. That's right. Reese, let me look.
If not, since Reese isn't here,
Reese has a grappling hook and a bunch of rope.
Okay.
Reese can
All
just
right.
climb down, like spelunk climb. Well, no, that's
And-
cave climbing. Reese was going to be able to like climb, rock climb.
Oh, I see. But what about Arwen and Ares? How are they gonna? That's the big question.
They have very high acrobatics and athletics checks. They can, and they're like animals. They can probably just kind of bound down. I will roll for them though.
I can pick them up and take them down.
I'll ask Danny, like, are they able to descend the mountain safely? So you could talk to them. You could ask them yourself.
Okay, so yeah, she'll do that. She'll talk to Arwen and Ares and try to see if they would be able to go down the mountain carefully without getting hurt.
Oh, for sure there. I can definitely get us down. I was raised up in the mountains after all. You found me in that orcish camp, so I'm pretty used to jumping around the orc mountains. I can show Ares the way. Hey, come on, Ares, let's go.
And Arwen just kind of bounds.
All right, I use the snap leaf and I go off the map.
That's essentially a featherfall token or something, right?
It is,
Kind of what
yeah.
does.
Get invisibility too.
Oh,
A minute, yeah. Until you stop falling, whichever comes first. So we're like, no one even sees us fall.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Love that. And Reese is going to, connect his grappling hook to one of a particularly strong boulder, get out as much of a length of rope as he can, and let me roll for this because there's always the nat one.
Please work.
It did not fall into the chat for some reason. There we go. Yes, yeah, 34. Reese is fine. Reese is able to. Reese is slower than everyone else because all y'all just kind of Mission Impossible dove off the cliff. But Reese does eventually get down with the climb check. Con, are all four of you doing the same thing with the snap
Yeah.
leaf?
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Cowabunga.
The first thing I do is I'm gonna summon Rot Trot with
Fantastic.
Phantom Steed.
Okay, so Rot Trot. Describe Rot Trot again.
So Rot Trot, like the name suggests, is a fetid horse. However, thanks to some help from Demirius and Dirge, I was able to bind its sort of flesh together using primal and divine magics to create something that has, I think it has the soul of the horse that I animated. So it is almost like a horse, not a lich because it's not magical, but basically like a revenant horse in a way, where it has stopped decaying and it has the strength of a horse, plus the additional benefits of what Phantom Steed grants. So it's like a very, very good mount. Unfortunately, I didn't choose Phantom Steed as my leveled sorcerer spell, so it will never learn how to fly or run on water, but it's still very fast. So
it's pretty great. So you've got Rot Trot. Let me see. Who is going to ride on Arwen and who's going to ride on Ares?
I will ride on Ares.
Okay. And then Demirius, you could take Arwen, I guess. And
Yeah.
Con, you can double up with basically anyone. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Backpack with me.
Yeah. I'll stick with
Okay.
Darius.
all right. And then Reese, what are we gonna do with Reese? Reese can just backpack with Danny on Ares. Ares is strong enough for that. And Reese and Danny are both half elves and very lithe. That should be fine. So yeah, all of you are able to make pretty good time, actually. Let me show the map to kind of give you all an idea where you're at. We determined last time that you came down the mountain about here, and your goal ultimately is the town of Wyvernsting here. And the sound of the commotion that Demirius heard is in that direction. So
So how long of a ride, based on what we're hearing in our distance and how fast we're moving, do you think this would be? Like, can I make an estimate as Zavid?
Sure. Roll me nature in the tower. That's perfect for nature.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Actually, that was a good roll, even though you're untrained. So you estimate that's probably going to be at least a solid 15-minute ride to get to where you're going, because it was just out of Demirius's hearing.
Okay. 15 minutes. I'm wondering if it would be worth it. I'm going to do it. I want to get there as quickly as possible. So I'm going to, let me just double check if I can actually target another creature with this one spell that I have.
If you can't, I will allow Rot Trot to be part of you, since you're riding Rot Trot. I'm counting. I'll count it as the same creature if the spell doesn't. Still look it up. I want to know, but I'll allow it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think that is an arcane spell, so I got to go to the arcane list.
Either way, I'll let it work. It's what, Longstrider or something?
I have 3 movement increasing spells, and I would use them all if I can. Let's see. Yeah, that's a U gain and U. Okay, so both Fleet Step and Longstrider are U, so they would be personal, but Haste is for anybody. If you would allow me to consider Rot Trot myself, I'm going to increase for 8 hours, increase Rot Trot's speed by 10 feet, which makes it very, very fast. And then Fleet Step for a minute is going to give it a 30-foot boost to its speed. So even further, and then Haste is going to give it another stride action for that minute as well.
Wow. May I ask, how far do we need to go?
Oh, oh no, I know what you're thinking. It's not very far, a couple of miles, tops.
Okay.
Why? What are you thinking there, Danny?
I forgot the name of the spell because I don't have it in front of me. But
I think it's Shadow Walk, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh. If that will save me 3 spells independently, then maybe we should do that.
It's like a 5th level spell, though. So it's either like 3 low levels or 1 high level. So I'll let y'all pick. Either way, you'll get there very quick.
I think if we're trying to save lives, it might be worth it.
I would be fine with using the spell slot.
Okay.
Would we be able to long rest or no? Not.
Definitely not. Oh, after this bit, not during the ride though.
No, after the ride.
Yeah, probably after the ride. Yeah.
How unhinged would it be to just be trying to rest while we're riding? I'm just gonna take a nap on the way there.
So we can shadow walk there. I suggest to the group. It's a little more riskier. We're not completely out of the woods with considering everything that's in the other dimension, but we would get there much quicker and we could rest afterwards and have a plan.
If that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
Okay. Does everyone agree to that?
I agree to it.
All right, let's try it.
All right.
So I'm going to cast it, and as I cast, I will be using Shadow Tongue.
Ooh.
As I use my enchantment, or is it Shadow Tongue?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have that.
Okay, that's just my turn. So Zavid understands every word I'm saying, but everyone else sounds like whispers.
I think I also have Wanderer's Guide prepared. I don't remember if that's... Yeah. Okay. Casting time is a minute, so as we're getting ready, I can just be casting this. You call upon You call upon the Beyond to guide your route. When you cast a spell, choose a destination where the screaming is. You receive an inspired route to that destination, allowing you and allies who travel overland with you to reduce the movement penalty from difficult terrain for half. So I can do this finishing up the casting of spell right as we shadow walk and are in the shadow plane. So we take the quickest route in the shadow plane, avoiding difficult terrain.
Very cool. I love this plan so very much. So yeah, what you see, I'll do this on this map, I suppose. You start to see everything's just wiggling in front of you. It's very difficult to see where you're going, but Danny, you have no problem seeing the end point. It's almost like your eyes telescope onto where this is going, and you all suddenly, within 30 seconds, you arrive and the spell ends. And Zavid, I will tell you that your spell is the reason you didn't get attacked just now. So you managed to get there safely. Let me share this with you now. You arrive at an area that is on the main road. There are trees on the north and south. And finally, you see what the commotion was. Along the dried riverbed, up ahead, you spot a caravan, smashed and destroyed. Every wagon shattered and broken. The team appears to all be orcs, and they appear to be dead. In the center of the chaos, lying in a huge puddle of blood, are the dead bodies of a truly massive boar and wolf. Both the hulking dead animals are clad in metal armor. Now, share pictures with you now of them. They're very, very large.
Are Win and Ares large or larger?
Yeah, about that size, maybe a little bigger, at least comparable.
How's their armor looking?
Yeah, this looks familiar. I'll definitely go approach the animals and give them a check.
Give me a crafting check in the tower.
Yeah, if it's like that eagle that we came across, that was probably fused to their body. Crafting.
Yeah, I'd also like to just run around and make sure if there's anyone still alive, we could heal them now.
Sure, give me a perception check, anyone, Zavid. And then either crafting or nature, Demirius. There you go.
Oh, nature's much better.
Yeah, go ahead and give me
I'm not
nature.
even trained in.
Yeah, give me nature then. Okay, I'll do that first. Yeah, Demirius, you do. Since you were the one who noticed it on the eagle, you recognize very quickly that the armor, just like the eagle, is riveted directly into the bones of these creatures.
Yeah, this is not good.
Who would do something like this?
That's what I'm hoping to find out. Did you find anything, Zavid? Is anybody okay?
Ah, speaking of that, Zavid, you roll high enough that you do indeed hear over just a little bit to your west, a little under, basically under this wagon, you see an orc woman who is trapped underneath. She has long red hair, and she's bandages across her chest, and her right arm is made out of metal. It appears to be mechanical, with cogs and gears and wires. But
I think I have Anthaul on, so can I lift? Yeah, I have. I'm gonna lift the thing off. I'm going to save you any like spell slots you have, Demirius. I'm just going to use Soothe, which is the only way I can heal someone that doesn't involve necromancy.
I do have Lay on Hands, and that's just a focus point where it comes back. Like,
oh, is it focus?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's easier to do that, then yeah, go for it.
I can definitely just do that. So.
Okay. As you place your hand on her, the light goes into her, fills her, and her eyes pop open, and she goes,
Just settle down. Just hold her down for a second so she doesn't freak out, like hurt herself more. Hold on.
Oh shit!
I need help, please.
It's a local. We need someone who speaks Orcish.
On it.
And she looks to you, Con, and I'm just going to switch to English now. It's
Yeah.
easier. Just say, what happened? Where am I? Who are you people?
We wandered upon your this caravan being attacked. I mean, everyone's dead.
And she begins to kind of rub her eyes and look around, and she goes, "Oh, yes, the caravan. We were ambushed by dog riders and boar riders. What? Everyone is dead?"
It's not a pretty sight. Who are you?
And she, looking at all of you and realizing that she's speaking Orcish to a mouse, she's very like she's really almost feel like she's hallucinating at this point. But she kind of slowly switches back into kind of broken common and says, "My name, Lasha Glasgar. I am merchant from Wyvernsting." And all of you are understanding this now. She's speaking common. We were traveling across the floodplains with our ore, but we were attacked upon, and she's looking about and noticing that all of the boxes around are smashed or gone. It's mostly just corpses and a broken wagon at this point.
Yeah, when she
All
mentions
right.
that, I'll get up and kind of look around and see. She mentioned ore and see if there's anything left.
So this was a heist, a highway robbery, literally. Do you know who was responsible for this attack? And I gesture towards like the wolf and the boar, like, what? Who could have created something like this?
I've never seen such a creature. I mean, we orcs use riding wargs and riding boars in war, certainly, but nothing like these monstrosities, nothing that ferocious and angry.
I suppose then I should ask, what is missing here? Because if all of your ore was taken, that means there was more than just the boar and the wolf. Who else was with them?
Yes, there was. Well, one appeared to be orcish, but with armor on. I could not get a look at his face. Another was very tiny. Halfling, perhaps? Gnomish? It was all so fast.
And I investigate the creatures and kind of learn maybe a little bit about what is this and how do they do it.
Yes, but first I'm going to jump to Demirius. You said you were looking at the boxes or something? What were you looking at?
Yeah, just see if there's any evidence of like anything left or like what stuff they were moving
Sure,
other than
yeah.
maybe perhaps ore. Because I'm guessing the ore is for whatever they're doing to these animals, making armor and such. But
Yeah, give me a perception check in the tower. I guess that's close enough to investigating. Yeah, perception's good.
okay.
Yeah, you're looking around and you're seeing a lot of smashed crates and a lot of empty crates. And you can see that they do all have labels in Orcish, but I'll kind of roll over Con translating for you or Galasha translating for you. That these are all definitely either raw ores or ingots that were bound for the town of Wyvernsting. A majority of them are steel and mithril, you discover. That's the large majority of what this was supposed to be.
All right.
Dad!
He has awakened. Okay, so
yeah,
Danny,
I'll be right back.
you're good. Danny, you said you wanted to look at the two animals.
Yeah, and kind of get an understanding of how this could happen and just kind of get a better understanding of what happened to them.
Sure. Okay, so I'll have you roll. Let me see. Nature or medicine is exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. I'll roll for you.
Okay.
Yes, let's see here. So you're looking at these animals, and you definitely can tell that they're larger than they should be. This wolf is huge. Like, I mean that both metaphorically and like mechanically. It is huge, and this boar is huge. So they are far, far bigger than they have any right to be. Larger fangs, larger claws, and as Demirius pointed out, they're not just wearing armor like Zavid's rot tribe. He has a little bit of armor cladding on him, but he's wearing it, like you're supposed to wear armor. But these creatures have armor plating put on them, and then rivets driven through their skin directly into their bones. So the armor's part of their body. It's horrendous.
Okay.
And there's more, and I'll gesture to the spine where they have that harm spell thing, and I'll
they both have
say,
one.
It is a means of controlling them. Sort of like mechanical geas. They must obey orders, and if they fail to do so, they are, tortured.
Why would anyone ever want to hurt an animal this way?
I think the animals are a means to an end. I think there's something bigger going on here, and these are just sort of foot soldiers, easy to create foot soldiers. Though I will say the technology is very advanced.
I'm not okay with that. Aren't we supposed to advance technology to make things better, not control animals or hurt everything around us?
I mean, there's no moralistic goal for progress. Progress in the name of itself is sometimes the only driver that people need.
Can I tell if this was like a dwarven make, or if this is like orcish technology, or if it's like...
You could absolutely try. That would be crafting. Anyone who wants to roll crafting in the tower, go ahead and do that.
Good.
Can you do that for me?
Yes. I don't think you're very good at it, but I will do it for you.
I think I did analyze the other stuff beforehand with the crafting chair. I just forgot exactly what I learned.
Yeah. Con, do you want to get in on it? Yeah, crafting, you say. Aren't you a master at crafting, Con?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay. Between all three of you kind of looking at this, you do find the same sigil that you found last time. It's in Gnomish. And Reese was the one who figured out the translation using root words and society checks, that kind of thing. And it would translate from Gnomish into Artificers Without Borders, Cogito Machinus, which he figured out was thinking machine, the thinking machine. So, but the armor itself is of Orcish make, very, very clearly. But it's just that little stamp that's in Gnomish is what makes you go, that's the weird, because orcs do not have this technology. Orcs make armor, orcs make weaponry, orcs make siege tanks. They don't make, this crazy, that's gnome stuff.
I think the orcs are the labor, and there is a evil little gnome that is the designer and boss here.
That makes me so sad because I generally like gnomes.
It's possible,
and I'll what's her name? Thrasha?
Glasha, Glasha. Glasha, yes. Like galoshes.
I see. I'll turn towards her and I'll say,
it's possible that the small figure might have been a gnome. Did you happen to see any sort of defining features, like very long eyebrows or like a huge mustache or something very out of the ordinary?
Well, out of the ordinary, yes, of course. He had mechanical arms, somewhat similar to my prosthetic here.
And she kind of lifts it up and, she can move it around a little bit. It's not super prehensile, but it works for her. And she says,
He did have some of these types of prosthetics, but it was over very quickly. I think I blacked out when the wagon fell apart on me.
So you did not see which direction they were headed?
They attacked from the southwest, but I did not see where they went.
Okay. Perhaps we should take a look around and see if there are any tracks leading to and away, if it's the same path or if they took a different route away from here.
Sure, that would be survivals.
It would be, and I am not trained in that. So I sort of offer that as a suggestion, and then I just go,
Can I have Ares or Arwen sniff it out?
Yes, that is far more likely to to help than having yours. So let me see. Here's Ares, here's Arwen. Who has better tracking? Let's see. That would be Arwen. Okay. But they're going to work together. So let's see if Ares is going to be able to aid Arwen in this search. Absolutely. Ares critically aids. So Arwen's going to get a +4, actually, to her survival. So let's see how well Arwen tracks. Oh, 37. That was excellent. Arwen and Ares working together. Oh yeah, I think there's something over here. No, yes, if we follow the blood. No, later. And Ares tries to stop and lick up some of the blood from these animals, but manages to think better of it and sticks with Arwen the whole time as they're sniffing around, and they do eventually come to around about here, and Arwen says, "Hey, I think we might have got something here." Yes, tracks, look. And anyone who looks, there are tracks on the ground that they're strange looking. One set is clearly a very large, very heavy bipedal creature. You get the feeling that's the one, the orc that Glosha may have been talking about. But the other seems to be, they don't look like footprints. They're circular. They almost look like they kind of dig into the ground a little bit. And it looks like there's almost 4, 6, maybe even 8 of them. It looks like almost like an octopus walked past here. But then after about 10 or 15 feet, they just stop.
Okay, that's weird.
We know they have access to flying creatures. It is possible that whatever they were on can become airborne, which would make tracking them a little more difficult. But southwest from here is a very definite direction we can try and see if there's any connection between this attack and other attacks, sort of triangulate where they came from.
There has been quite a lot of attacks lately. It's been very dangerous along the flood roads for merchants and for all the refugees from the north. Excuse me, you're not from these lands. We have had a large influx of refugees from the Mammoth Realm recently.
Can we pull up a map of Belkson?
Absolutely. You have the map. Oh, let me get rid of that special effect because you're no longer shadow walking.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I closed out of that one because I was
there
so we are.
I will show you. You are currently right about there on the flood road.
Okay.
Your current target is Wyvernsting, which is right there. That's where Glosh was headed anyway. But then southwest is where the attack originated from.
I see. And now, before we went on this aside, we were trying to get to the base of the Firewatch Peaks, right? And it's been a hot second. Remind me what we were looking for down there.
You were getting down the Firewatch Peaks just to get down because they're super duper high. They're like 3,000 foot high needle shaped spires. So getting down would have required like flight or incredible mountain climbing to go straight down a sheer cliff face. So instead you found the one hollowed out one and kind of climbed down it.
I see.
The goal here is to get to Wyvernsting because that's where all of these signs are pointing for Danny's lost sibling.
Got it. And it's night, right? It's like
Yeah, it's like 5 in the. It's 4 or 5 in the morning.
I want to I guess turn to everyone else.
We have a few options. We could head for Wyvernsting with Glasha, who, if she's so willing, could give us a non-hostile welcome, and we could rest and ready ourselves for what's to come.
Absolutely.
We could also...
I owe you my life.
We could also try to press the advantage and follow where we believe the attackers to be originating from, to see if we can find their location. That would be a bit more risky, and it is nighttime, so we'd have the cover of night, but it would be hard to... We would need to be looking for light sources. If it is a sort, they're capturing ore, which means they're going to be using some sort of furnace and smelting device to make these things. It is possible we could find a light source, or even like a smoke rising into the sky from a specific point that we could, figure is where they are originating from. But we do put ourselves in a bit of risk.
I will do whatever you guys think is for the best.
I believe we should head for Wyvernsting first. If for no other reason than to drop her off.
So I would appreciate very much getting back to the city after everything that happened here. I think my boss would like to know.
All right. In that case, I might want to do something here then before we leave.
Cool. What's that? Yeah, anything you guys want to do in this area, in this crash site, is more than okay. Like, you want to take some evidence or that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because David still has ant haul up. You can carry a bunch of shit. And you have mounts, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Is the one wagon that looks up right on the map, is that one still functional?
It looks like it could be. Yeah.
Get Rot Trot to pull that one.
Rot Trot could definitely pull that, yeah.
Ooh, okay. So here's my issue that I'm faced with is I'm trying to find what spells having to do with familiars I could do, because it's not just the property of having a familiar anymore, and there's just so many spells.
Clerics.
But yes, however, I what I could do is I could bring out Wisp and say, all right, I need you to, and I'm talking in Akalo, so I'm just directly speaking to Wisp, who I believe is starting to get a little bit bigger at this point.
I need you to use the cover of night and your ability to go into the ethereal to get into those mountains and head southwest of here. Search for vibrations in the ground, heavy machinery, large sounds. If you see smoke or light, head for that and stay safe and out of sight.
Do you have any of my mushrooms for the road?
I do. I'll give, before I even let them off, because they're going to be hitching stuff up, I'll give them a meal of mushrooms. And when no one's looking, I'm going to take some of the wolf meat. I'm going to cut some meat off. I'm like, you're going to need protein too. And then give it the wolf meat.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I give it the boar meat. That's ham. No,
Yeah,
screw
ham.
that. No, yeah. Boar meat.
This is bacon. You're going to like bacon.
Yeah. Spices up the mushrooms. And then Wisp goes off into the forest and within seconds is invisible and within the ethereal plane and you no longer and out of sight. I like where this is going, so I'm just going to let it happen.
I gotta trust that this animal knows how to survive and is not like going to put itself in undue risk, especially on a full stomach when it's not hunting and needing to do that in the first place. So hopefully it will do what it needs to do.
Great. All right, Con, what are you doing around here before we leave? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. I think making sketches of any insignias on the armor.
Yeah, the insignias all appear to be mainly orcish, because the armor's very orky. It's got spikes, it's very thick armor, or thick metal, that kind of thing. Not a lot of finesse. You can tell elvish make from dwarvish make from orcish make. That's not very difficult. There's no specific sigils for like who made them, other than that gnomish stamp that you found on these two and on the eagle.
Yeah, well, it'll at least be good to have a record of that, something you could hold up to like show people at a glance. Like, is this familiar at all?
And actually, I do have a picture of that. Let me find it. There it is. I need to unidentify. There we go. Okay, so essentially, the symbol that you keep seeing on it is this.
Gotcha.
It's very weird. It's it's always carved into the thing, and it's got harsh right angles. There's a square, lots of little lines mishmashing left and right here and there, crossing each other. There's circles. There's wiggly stuff. There's appears to be something that looks kind of like a sun in the middle. It's a very weird symbol, but that and the kind of the gnomish stuff is the one thing that's been common throughout.
Gotcha.
Okay, Danny, is there anything you're doing the rest of before you take off from this crashed up caravan?
No, just getting ready for everyone else and looking over the animals, and that's really about it.
All right. So Ares is seeming a little hungry, but ready to go. Arwen is still confused as to where those tracks went. They just disappear, and Arwen has no sense of where they went off to. But you managed to get them. Go ahead.
I'll just like message Ares and like in his mind and be like, if you want to eat the boar, go ahead and eat the boar.
Thank you. And Ares rushes over to the boar and starts just devouring from the inside.
Now that's what I call a hot pocket.
Take a hero point for that. I need to give them out more often. Oh god. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're currently at 0, you have 1 hero points.
Hey.
Yeah. Now, Demirius, is there anything you're doing here before taking off?
Probably just checking to make sure the wagon's okay, and just to double check, make sure everyone else is expired and there isn't any more of her friends that are alive.
Yeah,
It
you do a
doesn't
pretty
look that
thorough
way.
search. You do a pretty thorough search, and yeah, Galasha is the only survivor of any of the horses or the merchants. Lone survivor. But you're able to get the cart out of the rut, unhooked from the dead horse, hooked onto Rot Trot with very little issue, and you take off. So let me see.
I don't want to be that guy and just like focus on this one person, and then there's some guy in the bush just like sees his cart away.
Oh.
Yep, Galasha was the only survivor. So as you're going across, she's in the wagon. Is anyone in the wagon with her, or well, yeah? What's the riding situation? You have plenty of options.
Is Rot Trot pulling the wagon?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm in the wagon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody on Ares or Arwen?
Yeah, I'm on Ares.
Okay.
I could be
Come
on
on, please.
Arwen, I guess, because then
Yes, same as before.
Okay, cool. So Zavid, you're in the wagon with Galasha. So as you're heading down the road, she looks to you and eventually says, again, I can't thank you enough for coming by when you did. And well, I don't even know how you got that wagon off of me. But I surely would have succumbed to my wounds if you hadn't come to my aid when you did. I must thank you.
You definitely would have died. Yes. It was a string of very fortunate coincidences that led us to you. We are very far away, all the way by the Fire Peak Mountains, where those spires are. And
getting in some hiking. It's lovely this time of year.
well, yes, we were going to go down the mountains in a very slow fashion, but then Demirius's keen ears heard the attack happening in the distance, and then I gestured to Rot Trot. I'm like, we have some abilities that got us here very quickly, but we are a little tapped out, so we're glad we got to at least save one of you in time.
I noticed the horse. I was confused, but I've heard of necromancy before. Some of our shamans have things like this, so it is not fully foreign to me. But who am I to question my savior?
No worries. His name's Ratrat. He likes rotten apples and really like gross carrots. I didn't pick these foods for him. That's just what he likes.
Well, it's like composting. Let nothing go to waste, yeah?
Actually, that's very true. We save a lot of food that way.
She kind of reaches forward and at first kind of winces, but goes to pet Rotrat like on the flank and just kind of powers through it, and kind of gives him like a good boy.
Also, by the way, I forgot I had a status prepared. I think I would have cast status on all of the living creatures, including Wisp, just because I know we're not going to be using many more spells, and I want to know which direction and how far away Wisp is from me.
I'm fairly certain that only counts on the plane if you're on the same plane, correct?
Let's see. It says...
It won't make a big difference, but I do.
As long
that is a detail we should know.
Yes, as long as you are both on the same plane of existence and both alive, you remain aware of its present state. So when it pops back into, I'll basically get little pings every time it comes back into material.
That's exactly it. It's like Nightcrawler, where there's just...
It's radar.
Yeah. Yeah, so every so often, every time it pops back in, and you can sense Wisp again. Wisp is a little bit further away, and again, just generally headed southwest. But as you're riding down the road, the sun begins to finally perk up, and in the distance, you can see the city rising up against the mountains. And it's a pretty large, massive city, surrounded by walls and parapets. Every wall has a large spike or a horn of some great creature attached to it. There is a sort of a ravine leading the way to the front gates, which are a massive drawbridge over a moat. Along the road, when you get close to the city, there are armed guards, each armed with a very tall spear and a shield, and scale mail armors from shoulder to foot. And they look at all of you, I wouldn't say aggressively, but oddly. It's not strange to see non-orcs in this area. There are many, many merchants, but you all seem very strange to these guards. So none of them give you any issues, but they do kind of give you these as you pass by. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's guards doing their job, guarding. If they were asleep on the job, I'd be very worried.
Yeah.
Or like that one town where they're just drunk. They have tankards in their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. He was great. I panicked and named him John, I think.
Makes sense.
I would also ask if Galasha knows any other languages besides Orcish and Common.
Well, I've been learning Gnomish recently. We've had
quite a large influx of Gnomish refugees, like I said, from the north. So it makes business a little bit easier to speak their language. I wouldn't say I'm fluent. Conversational at best. You know, where is the apothecary? Where is the bathroom? These kinds of things.
Your common is good enough. I was just curious if there was a better tongue to talk in, but I do not know Gnomish or Orcish, so unfortunately, it did not pan out like I might have thought.
Ah, well, plenty of people in Wyvernsting speak common, but you shouldn't have too much of an issue unless you run into the people who choose to only speak Orcish. There's several of them.
Is this a touristy place? They don't like people coming in and not using their language?
Well, most of Belkzen is not very welcoming of is not very welcoming to outsiders. But our chieftain, Hunduk's half-man, is half human himself, so he's much more understanding of the views of outsiders. And Wyvernsting is one of the most open cities in all of Belkzen, especially for trade and commerce.
Well, that's good. We're going to be counting on you to put a good word in for us so that we're not immediately imprisoned or thrown out.
Of course, I think I can do that. And at that, you're getting pretty much up to the front gate, and I can share this now. This is the town of Wyvernsting. Again, it's walled up against a little bit of a lake. There are several sections to the city. When you get up to the front gate, one of the guards looks at you and says, "All right there? Whoa, what brings you into Wyvernsting?" And Glosha says, "I was part of a merchant caravan that was," and this is all in Orcish, so only Khan is understanding this. To the rest of you, it sounds like "Grugkak Maka, get up, but she's saying, "I was part of a merchant caravan that was attacked on the flood plains. Everything was taken from us, but I'm the only survivor. These outsiders were fortunate enough to come upon me, and they saved my life. I need to get back into the city to report this to the authorities." And the guard finally says, "Very well." And they finally kind of move out of the way and let you pass through into the city, not giving you much of an issue. I think that went well.
I did, yes.
Now, I'm not sure why you are here in the city, but who do you need a good word put in for? Or with, I should say.
Yeah. Who are we trying to talk to again?
Probably the leader, because you know the one rumor that you've heard consistently is that an orc warlord has been keeping a golden-haired elf as a pet. That is like your hint.
Yeah, I remember that.
The one thing you keep finding. So you probably want to find the chief.
There's that. There's also the orb, the scrying orb for the one orc. What's their name? Was it pointing to the city?
It was not. It was pointing southwest. Kind of the same. Actually, let me see. From here, hold up. From here, it is pointing dead south from here.
Dead south from here. Okay, interesting. We'll investigate that later, I guess. And what else was there? Was there some sort of animosity between the otter folk and the orcs?
They're just kind of scared of them, so they hide up high in the rookery spires. So basically, just as long as they just don't want to be found, because the orcs will probably take them out.
Okay. I'll say that in Elvish to everybody. Like, by the way, let's not mention our little other friends to anyone.
So did you hear about these otter people back there?
I've only met Chieftain Halfman once, but I think I can probably get you in up at Fort Hunduk's at the top of the hill. And Glasha raises her mechanical arm and points up to the highest point in the city, and you see like a large parapeted area with particular fortifications and weaponry on the walls.
I also take note of the arm. I'm like, so who built that arm for you?
Oh, I lost my arm a few years ago in the war, but the Artificers Without Borders gave it to me. They've been here in Belkson for a couple of years. With after the refugee crisis, they've been helping a lot of orcs, and they give these out for free. And she goes,
Where are they located?
I believe they have a temple in town up in the back hill. Do you still have that map open of Wyvernsting?
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe they. Oh, what do they call it? They have the silliest name. The Temple of Cassandra something or other. It's like this long. I can't ever remember.
Can I make a religion check to see if I understand?
Sure. Anyone can roll a religion check in the tower, please.
Let's see.
Oh, and I'll roll for Danny. I don't think your religion's very high, though.
That's why I don't think she would roll.
Yeah. Because we got two leads. We got a sibling to find, but also what the hell's going on with these doctors or artificers without borders, you know?
None of you have heard of that. That doesn't ring clear to any of you. Sounds very strange. No, none of you have any idea what Glosh is talking about.
I don't recognize it, and it makes me angry. Well,
You might be able to ask a guard or maybe one of the gnomes. I don't know if it's offensive to assume that they know that church, but perhaps.
I would assume at the very least, if it's a gnomish sort of cultural thing, even if someone doesn't belong to it, they would know the name of it.
So I'm gonna look around as we're like, we're still on a cart moving through the town, right? I want to look for the nearest gnome.
Great. You roll me perception in the tower?
Sure.
I think. Yeah, without much issue, you're able to spot a gnome on the street. There's quite a few in this town. You notice there's orcs everywhere, of course. It's a very populous orcish city, but there are quite a few gnomes. The height difference and the juxtaposition between the two is very striking in this city.
I'm gonna call out to like a gnome that's like walking the street.
Hey, buddy, do you know where that temple with the Artificers Without Borders? Do you know what that's called? I forgot the name.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the Church of Cassandra Lee of Modern Times Artificers? Of course. They're just in the back hill up on the northern side near the wall.
That was very helpful. Thank you.
And I'll give him a gold coin for his trouble.
Oh, thank you, sir. And he takes a big bite out of it and looks at it, and he runs off with it.
And I thought that was weird.
No, you're still not weird.
I can always count on you to bring me down.
I think that's a perfect place for us to take a short intermission. All right, so let's take a quick break, maybe 10-15, and then we'll come back and we'll find out where this heads inside the town of Wyvernsting. Hopefully Abe is there and he can press pause on our stream. Maybe he is not. Maybe we're not going.
as long as we're still here.
Yeah, we can keep going if he's not here. So where are you going to go first, I guess, is the question. To the fort or to the temple?
I think we should go to the leadership first. One, because I think it's on the way anyway, shorter distance, but also it's the more pressing thing. I mean, first of all, there's the report of what happened on the road that I think Glasha wants to give. So it'd be good for us to be present for that. But also, if Danny's sibling is being kept as a pet, I feel like we don't want to keep them in that situation for any longer than they already are. I feel they could stay a pet for a little longer. I'm gonna go to the McDonald's, pick up something. You want anything?
It's been 100 years. What's another couple hours?
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Sure. So you're going through the town, and it's just a very cosmopolitan type city. The only striking details to you is that number one, there's gnomes and orcs everywhere, and number two, just the orcish architecture in and of itself is very different from what you're used to down in more of the human cities, like Druma or Corvosa. So it's just a different, but it's just a large city. You eventually do round your way up to near the top of the city, having to pass through several gates, but Glossius manages to get through with her merchant ID and explaining what's going on and the fact that she needs to make a report with Chieftain Halfman. And let's see here, we can put you all there. There we go. Share this. So when you get to the very top of this city, you come to the final area that is walled off. There are two large guards, just like there were at the front of the gate, and they stop and they look to you all, and they even say in common, "What business do you have with Chieftain Halfman?" And I'm hoping that map is loaded. Great. But yeah, they're speaking to all of you in common.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Ugh.
We were traveling and we found a trading caravan that had been attacked. We brought the one surviving member back to the city. It seems like an important thing to let you know.
Yes, of course. We've been having a lot of these lately. Caravans getting knocked off from the trails. It's been getting more and more deadly along the floodplains. Please, come in. And they step aside, and I haven't populated this map with like orcs, but there's many orcs everywhere, dozens of them. In this area, you notice there's a noticeable lack of gnomes, maybe one or two here and there who seem to be important people, but for the most part, this area seems to be almost dominated entirely by orcs.
Right. Do we have a guide? Is anyone going to lead us through?
Yeah, one of the guards can say, we'll say, yes, if you go up to the second level, to the top, to the northwest there, that's where Chieftain Halfman is. Just speak with his guards, they should let you in.
Thank you.
We'll bring in the sort of, I'm guessing what we brought, like what did we bring with us that we hitched with Rot Trot? What was everything that we, like, I'm guessing we probably took like a carcass of one of the animals that attacked just to identify it, and
maybe the wolf because the boar was mostly eaten.
Yeah, I mean it was a boar. Yeah, probably the wolf. And but was there any like sort of like salvageable stuff from the wreckage, I guess, like that they didn't take, or did they clean them out in that short time?
It was pretty much cleaned out, but there would be a couple of boxes with information, like work orders or purchase orders, I guess is a better term. So there's like lists of things that are missing, that sort of thing.
Okay. And there's probably a lot of, I mean, we made the cart workable again, but there's probably a lot of cosmetic damage too that shows there was an attack.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, then let's, go through.
Okay. So since you got through the main gate without much issue, they don't give you any problems. And so I can just pop you over there. So at the top left there, there are a couple of guards standing there, and they are in particularly nice armor, these two. And they have their spears crossed across the door. They look to you again and say, "What business have you with Chieftain Halfman?" And you can explain basically the same thing. Glossia backs you up on your claims. They look kind of to each other, and one of them says, "One moment," and walks inside. The other one stands in front of the door, just kind of staring at you. And a few moments later, the guard comes out and he says, "The chieftain will see you." And Abe is still gone, because this would be a perfect time for a break. Abe, where are you?
Abe.
Abe. We can't turn it off. It would be yes from here.
Listen, Abe, if you're hearing this, if I piss my pants, it's your fault. I'm just saying.
Same. Still no
That's
way.
Yeah, I said something in Discord. Because I don't really want to jump into the next scene until we take a break. Well, you want to just mute mics, turn off cams, and take a break while he's gone?
I think that's what we're gonna have to
I think
do.
that's going to be the choice here. All right, let's just do that.
All right. Be back shortly, everybody.
Yep, we'll be back as
Yep.
soon as we
Woohoo.
can, and be back shortly.
Who goes there? Why you dummies always coming in my bear like you want the smoke? All these wannabe heroes underprepared for the nightmare and despair that they dare to provoke. Most folk are doing their best to avoid me. Floor full of bones of the people that annoy me. Every now and then I get a couple of daredevils with the audacity to think that they can destroy me. Good luck with that, man. I got panoramic vision, meaning that I can see in any direction with precision. If it's your decision to attack, I suggest that you come back when your plans had a bit of revision to it. Notably, you should accept defeat. Consider this your last opportunity to retreat. Repeat, that was your last chance to survive. I hope that you enjoyed your time being alive.
You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder.
I am the tyrant, get it? I've actually been told that I'm a pretty funny guy. Wait a minute, what were we discussing? I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's right, you were just about to die. Huh. How can I forget that? It's my favorite part. The only thing left to consider is where to start. In addition to magical abilities, I'm smart. I can make your demise art. Anyway, it appears that the wizard in your party is a gnome who was worth about the same as if he would have stayed at home. I'll activate my anti-magic cone, and in a moment I'll turn him into stone. When the barbarian inevitably flies into rage, I'll disintegrate her with one of my eye rays. By the way, I haven't even begun to try. Fly by and take a bite of the fighter's thigh.
You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder.
While the fighter attempts to collect himself, he bleeds out on the space I dismembered him in. I wouldn't waste time telling me your names. I can guarantee that nobody's ever gonna remember them. Then again, you'll be on the list of my victims at the bottom of a column of other anonymous prey. You should take a minute to reflect on the day and the last words you'll ever say. Time's up. You're the lone survivor, the last one left. And halfling rogues are admittedly deft, but you broke into my home and you've stolen my time. I'm afraid I cannot allow theft. Throw you up into the air with my telekinesis. Finger of death to obliterate you into pieces, and that's that. Wink and a tip of the hat. That was good for my practice. Thanks for the chat.
You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder.
A glass cannon is a character that can put out obscene damage very quickly, but is also incredibly frail.
I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, I'm a glass cannon.
If your objective is blatant confrontation and you hate is of great underestimated my station. I dominate with divination, I conquer with conjuration. I'm bonkers with evocation, I'm astonishing at abjuration. Patiently waiting for my invitation to help alleviate my already unbelievable reputation. No conversation, the brains of the operation, the pain of the population contained in a concentration of a spell slot. I got 27 in the clip, missiles emitting from my fingertips like warships. That's a handgun, damn son, shooting from the hip. Only one using telekinesis to get a grip. Cantrips waiting to be cast off. Prismatic wall, make them all blast off. Cackling my ass off, incapacitating them with laughter. Yazzik ain't the caster you wanna go after.
I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, I'm a glass cannon.
Anyone wanting to interfere can get weird and witness your worst fears in a 30-foot sphere. I don't care if you're a barbarian or a cavalier. Kick it into high gear, let me make myself clear. The pioneer, I can make your peers disappear. Send them to the ethereal plane as if they were never here. Cheers roaring in my ears, dearly revered. I'm happy to domineer any volunteers. Sincerely out of control, top of the totem pole. My cone of cold is freezing them fire trolls whole. I got the strap, just looking to trap souls. I've been snapping my firebolt, leaving smoldering holes. It's incredibly difficult not to acknowledge me. I am a prodigy, you'll read about me in your mythology. No apologies, I'm impossible to demolish. Consider this admonishing, second guessing my polish, you bitch.
I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, my glass cannon. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon.
The general strategy is to either destroy the enemy before being attacked, or to hide behind other, stronger ally units.
I'm like a falling star, I burn alone. I've got a heart without a home. Underneath this empty sky, just waiting for a sign. And it seems to me that gravity has got its hold on me, but I'm about to break free. Mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Like a flare without a spark, a shadow wish into the dark. Far across the galaxy is where I dream to be. And it seems to me astrology has got its plans for me. I just gotta believe. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this nightmare into light. Oh, mother, would you take me home tonight? Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Falling star, I burn alone. Got a heart without a home.
Some see me as a cynic. They come in for the base, but they stay for the acidic. I've been on that paper chase, keeping pace for a minute, and I'm aiming to appreciate the moment while I'm in it. Genesis, a menace on the mic, so sinister. You might get some venom from the bites I administer. Winner from the start, superstar with the finisher. I got a decent heart, but I'm hardly a minister. A bardic apprentice, a menacing as a lamb. Worm like I'm Dennis, I don't dare to give a damn. Firm in the philosophy, I am who I am. I'm a carbon commodity, I need to be verified on the gram. Tightrope walking the id and the superego. Lifeboat liable to fire the torpedoes. Keeping to the credo, I'm free to achieve the dream, or at the very least I can release some of my steam. Alignment is just a part of the process, and lately I've been making some progress. I'm finding the defining the balance of good and evil in people is nearly an impossible conquest. Regardless, stay CG, only way I know how to be. When I combine my child with OTIC, an outlaw like I'm Robin H. Double OD. I made it through the rubble, now they got trouble with me. So we're supposed to be sophisticated. Then why is 67% of the population undereducated? Emotionally incapacitated. Historically opinionated characters end up assassinated. And that's okay with the people faking it day to day. Capitalizing on capitalism, it's pay to play. Waiting for data to make it fade away. Whether you admit it, we're witnessing biological decay of the human race. We're going to a new place. I really hope it comes soon. I don't do space, two-faced, treble and bass, running the rebel base. Outpacing enemies in the interface. In your face like a zygomatic arch. I got them in lockstep, meaning my melodramatic march is effective, albeit rather subjective. I encourage you to pursue a new perspective. Alignment is just a part of the process, and lately I've been making some progress. I'm finding the defining the balance of good and evil in people is nearly an impossible conquest. Regardless, stay CG, only way I know how to be. When I combine my child with OTIC, an outlaw like I'm Robin H. Double OD. I made it through the rubble, now they got trouble with me. Since the day I was born, I've been non-conforming. I put myself in a position to make a living performing. Haters should consider this a formal warning. I've been swarming on them like a storm, I'm global warming. I'm not the one, done been through too much madness. Mastered the wrath and the sadness. You would need an atlas to match where I'm at. The fat cat put a nerdcore rap back on the map, that's Yazik. Weaving that underwater basket. Rap till I'm wrapped in a casket. Snapping I'm back on the track like I'm Matt Foley. Stay blown like a fiberglass gasket. Gassed up, I'm a maniacal minotaur. Try to hit me.
Welcome back. We are back from our intermission, and where we left off, the party Lux Et Umbra was in the innermost sanctum of the city of Wyvernsting within the Orcish lands of the Hold of Belkson, up at Fort Hundux to hopefully parley with the chief of the town, Hundux Halfman. You have been invited within by the guards, who open the door to, and do all of you still have that map? If not, I can load it.
Yeah, the map.
I think so.
Yeah, you'll have it? Okay, cool. So you're over in the top left corner, if you didn't see that. So he holds the door open, the other guard gets out of the way, and within you see a very nice room. There seems to be kind of a throne made of bone and wood. There's a table with a very large roast pig on it. There's another table with, let me see, what is that? Yeah, more food, drink, wine bottles, that sort of thing. On the throne sits a half-orc man with not long, but nice black hair that is kind of parted to the side over in a big sort of a nice wave. He wears nice blue armor that is of high quality leather. He has a what appears to be kind of a long sword at his hip in a scabbard. He wears very fine armors, and he has shorter tusks than the majority of the orcs you've seen, and longer hair, which kind of checks out because you've heard that he is a half orc. To his right, sitting near him in a small chair, is a strange sight. She's a woman, seemingly, with long white hair, but strangely very bright red skin and curling horns coming out of her head that go backwards. From her horns are draped chains of gold, and she has a septum piercing that has a chain that attaches to a piercing on her ear. She nods to you as you all walk in, but the most striking, oddly, that person that you see within here is to the left of the chieftain. Standing easily 6'8" is a golden-haired half-elf man with rippling muscles all across his arms, chest, and legs. He wears very little in the way of clothing, but what he does have on is extremely fine. They appear to be mostly just cloths and light hides, but they're all of green in make, and they have sort of elvish filigree around the outsides. He does hold in his hands, each one has a sharp green metal sword.
He's about to walk in and goes, "Oh, sorry." Backs away.
So you're led in by the guards, and sorry, I keep doing that. And the chieftain looks to you all and he says, "Hail, strangers! What can I do for you? What brings you to Fort Huntix?"
Well,
I look at the half naked man, and then I look at Danny.
Can I give an insight check on this elf?
Absolutely, perception check.
This friend.
Everyone who wants to give perception in the tower.
Yeah. We all just like immediately turn and look straight on.
I'm not gonna make perception because I'm actively looking away.
I'm looking at the eyes. What do I see? You have to roll for me, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're right. I do have to do that. Skills, perception for Danny. They're your eyes. They're exactly the same eyes that you see when you look at Aerodrill. They're the exact same eyes you see in the mirror. They're the same eyes you saw in your grandmother when you met her at your coronation. It takes no effort to see this. Khan, even you notice it. And Demirius, you rolled the same. All three of you see within his eyes, Danny's eyes.
Oh,
Okay, I messaged like Demirius. Okay, well, that's obviously my brother. I don't know how we're gonna get him out of here.
He settled in pretty nicely.
Since I'm like up front here, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. I'm saying it's the opposite of what we saw with your other brother. Like, seems to have adapted to the situation and just fit in and decided not to go back.
I'm gonna walk hesitantly forward and be like, do I stop? Where do I stop? Here? Is this good? Do I go a little closer? Like, where do you prefer me to be?
He says, "You're fine. Come in, please." And he stands up and he says, "Please sit down. You all look like weary travelers. Have a bite." And he motions to the roast food over on that table there.
Don't eat it. Don't eat anything.
I'm gonna sit on the warthog skin here for something. Well, so you are chieftain of this illustrious city. I am Zvid. Over here we have
Khan. It's just Khan the Bloody. I'm trying to like protect our family names here.
That's a very a fine orcish title, and he gives you kind of one of these. Con.
We have the Mirius, the cool, and
thank you.
I'm trying my best. And in the back corner here, perhaps you might like to introduce yourself.
And so what she's gonna do is she's gonna go directly to the half elf.
And just go sit up on the table like right next to him, just kind of like stare at him.
As she is going to announce Queen Daniela Arion of Druma.
You see his eyes go wide, the half elf, and he even drops his sword for a moment. He's just, little Danny, you're dead.
No, was trapped in the. Was trapped.
Not for a lack of effort from our enemies.
What? And he falls into a chair next to you, and he looks to you, to all of you, and he looks over to Hundux, and he says, "I think I need a second. What?" And Hundux looks to all of you, and he says, "What is the meaning of this? Well, what did you do to Mythonar?"
We have a lot to discuss. You are in the presence of Her Royal Majesty Queen Daniela Arion of the nation of Druma, recently ascended to the throne after her father has passed away.
Your friend
and
here.
You probably noticed by now there seems to be a bit of a resemblance between her and
I see, and he's looking back and forth, and he says, "My goodness, it is striking, isn't it? Even with your size differences. Those eyes. There's no mistaking those eyes. You have Marthanar's eyes."
Grandmother's eyes.
So here's the gist without going into too much detail. Cliff Notes version. So their royal bloodline has a special property with their blood that can do some very bad shit for everybody.
Do we need to discuss this with them? I'm sorry, but
we're not going into details. We'll just say that we would like to take what is his name?
Mythanar.
Well, I know. I can see it on the thing. Zavid's asking because he doesn't remember.
Gotcha.
What is his name?
Mythanar.
Mythanar. We would like to take Mythanar into our custody. We have a safe place where Daniela and her other siblings will be kept until the threat against them has passed. Not to doubt the defenses of Wyvernsting, however, the threat that is facing us is a little bit bigger than a single city might be able to fend off, and I don't think you would want to put your hard-working men and women at risk for
Rovagug.
something that could be avoided, you know.
She does, as he's saying that, she just pipes up, Rovagug.
He looks to you at that name and he says, "Well, I know that name. This is a harbinger of great evil.
You guys have any?
But question me this: what benefit would I have to give up my greatest advisor?"
Sorry.
Can I use this one, Zavid?
I'll back off. Sorry, my bad.
No.
Start eating.
It's delicious barbecued pork. Spectacular.
Danny makes the face. Okay, so here's the thing, without getting into too much detail, or however much detail you want, I really don't care at this point. I'm really, really tired, and I'm sick of the world trying to constantly kill us. But that's a song for another day. We need him to keep him safe, because if all of us are taken by this thing that's trying to kill the fucking world, well, then you have nothing else to fight. Actually, you won't even be alive. And she says this deadpan, there's no like hint of happiness or joy or anything. She's just so tired of everything.
So as she's doing that, the only thing I want to do now is pull out my brochures and hand one to Mithanar, hand one to the chief, and hand one to Shaki. This will help. And then go back and sit down and start eating.
They take the pamphlets. As you do that, Shaki walks up behind Hondux and places a hand daintily on his shoulder, and she says, "Darling, perhaps these adventurers would be willing to trade their services for Mythanar. We have been in need, and your armies have been, well, less than successful." He looks kind of dour at that, for the kind of comment that only a wife could make, you know? But anyone else could not have gotten away with that. But he looks to her and he reaches up and he grabs her hand and he says, "Very well. I have a proposition for you. You appear to be able-bodied adventurers. You saved that merchant. You have gotten deep within Orc territory unscathed, it would seem. This is not the first merchant caravan that has been taken over in our lands as of late. There have been much stolen, metals mainly, coal, things of that nature. It has severely interrupted the trade and the economies here in Wyvernsting. Recently, our daughter, Toba, was on a school trip. And, well, sad to say, it was attacked by some type of raiders. She's been missing for nigh on 2 weeks now. If you are to find our daughter, Toba, bring her back here. I will grant Mythanar his freedom.
Of course we'll save your daughter. Even if it was in an exchange of things, why would we let someone be taken like that?
We have had very few leads as to what happened to her. We've been looking, but as Shaki pointed out, my guards have been rather inept as of late. But you seem adept.
Speaking of missing ore, it's not going to be the last of it. Khan, you have that symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'll show it to him. Is this recognizable to you at all?
Yes. Yes, I see this on some of the gnomish buildings across town. Shaki, what is this? And he hands the symbol over to Shaki, and she looks at it and says, "Oh, yes, this is the holy symbol of Cassandra, one of the gnomish gods. It is a strange, quirky religion of theirs, but I believe there is a temple across town. Perhaps they could answer some of your questions. Where did you find this?"
We found it on the armor of a boar and a wolf that had attacked the caravan.
I see. Well, if those gnomes are involved in this somehow, that would be very distressing. Well, regardless, a lead is a lead. What say you? Our daughter, Toba, I should say, is young. She has 13 years. She takes after her mother rather than I. She has red skin, very difficult to miss in a crowd, I should say. What say you?
Where was she seen last, and in what direction do you believe she was taken?
They were headed south, but that was the last we knew.
Of course, they were headed south. There's a lot of crap happening south of Wyvernsting, I'm sure you've seen.
Yes.
Before we do this, there's I think we're all in agreement that we will attempt to procure your daughter alive to the best of our ability, and if that is impossible, if it is not within our ability to do so, we will at least bring those who did her harm to justice and hopefully bring her back in some form.
And it's
Preferably alive, obviously.
Mythonar stands up at this and he says, I've been here for over 100 years now. I've seen chiefs come and go. I've seen the control of this town handed from one to another in infighting and hegemony and birthright, but I know very little of the outside world here. Where would I go?
Well, first of all, you're gonna come home with us. You're gonna come back home, and you're gonna meet your batshit crazy brother.
Aerodrill. I have missed him so. I wonder if he can still take a punch. And he kind of reaches under a chair into a little box and he pulls up a little lock box and he says, I've kept this a long time. And he pulls out a paper with a sketch on it. And it looks like this. And Danny, you recognize it immediately. It's a family image of all of your members of your family. It's the full image of what's in your locket. Because your locket has the image of your mother and you, but the full image is of your mother, you, King Jonathan as a young man, and then in the center here is a very young Mythonar picking on a very young Aerodrill, with Serenulia at the side attempting to get the attention of her father, with the queen holding baby Danny. He shows it to you.
And she shows him the locket.
My goodness. I have not seen that in so very long. I remember when Mother gave it to you, on your first birthday. She never put you down.
Druma has changed quite a lot. And as you know, or just her father has passed.
Yes, well, from the rumors I got from the outside, he was a right bastard.
Well, he was, and due to the dragon sickness, it just ended loss of mother and the rest of us. He kind of just descended into madness.
But I'm so confused. You say Aerodrill lives as well, and you have found him?
Yep, he was bitch boy to this evil queen or evil person.
And he kind of looks similar to you, milady, if you don't mind me saying. He has horns, and he did not have them before.
Ah, I see. He has transformed into a tiefling then? Some sort of fiendish energies.
And Danny goes into way too much detail about what she saw and what happened and what they was doing to him and why he's turned into a tiefling.
And it really takes a lot out of Mythonar. Hearing that had happened to his brother, it seems to almost deflate him. Whereas before he was standing 6'8" if he was an inch, he almost seems to be 5 foot tall now. Not literally, but just he's the news of hearing that his brother went through that when he was living here in relative comfort really brings a lot of distress to him.
Oh, but don't worry, he's getting therapy and he's getting back to normal.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Now, pardon my leap in logic. I have not had the greatest education here. Are you telling me Serenulia lives?
We believe she does.
My goodness. As I live and breathe. Where do you know where she is?
We have a hunch, but we're not quite sure yet.
It's far away, but we yeah. So far, our hunches have been correct, so hopefully this one is as well.
You found me, and I thought you were dead. And I thought Father had forgotten about me. How did you find me?
Well. Go ahead.
No, Zavide, would you like to explain this one?
Sure. there's a real your father had an advisor, as many kings do, but this guy was like clearly bad and was sort of poisoning his mind and had his fingers in a lot of pies. One of them being keeping tabs on where all of the siblings were. In addition, we believe he's not the only one who knows of their locations, as there is some special property with you all that is sought after.
May I come
Yes.
in for 1 second, Savine?
Of course.
If you remember Archibitch, that's who he's talking about. That one.
No, I don't remember that. Maybe he came about after I was taken. I do not recall that advisor. I remember Maris, though. Commander Maris. Does she live yet?
Yes, she's our. What is she again?
Yeah, Queensguard. Head of the Queensguard.
She's head of the Queen's Guard now.
Oh, that is wonderful to hear. But you said continue. You found this vizier.
Yes. Long story short, we're gonna again very short summation. We took this evil bastard out, reclaimed his tower where he had a lot of important resources and documents. And that is where we found the information about where he believed you and your siblings to be. Thus far, 2 of these leads were actually correct. We have a lead on your sister. I don't want to change topics so quickly, but I must insist, my lord, Hundux half-man, would you please summon perhaps whoever leads the Artificers Without Borders, those who would know about all of someone who knows about all of their members and their history, someone who's like who could answer to you. We have some questions that I don't think they would necessarily freely answer us unless they had pressure from someone who had authority over them.
I could potentially send you with a writ of questioning. Yes. And he wanders over to, well, I guess not that table, but you can be kind of talking as he's explaining this, that he brings you down to this area that seems to be more of a fortification with maps and kind of a military type area. And he gives you a note in his hand requesting questions be answered, like essentially deputizing y'all.
I very much appreciate this gesture of authority. I'm slightly worried, and this is why. And I reveal. We've already kind of shown them the hopefully the wolf with the thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this is some very worrying, gnomish technology of orcish labor. Someone from their organization is doing some very awful things. Now, I'm not trying to paint all of them with a bad brush. However, I do not know how deep this goes. I don't know how many of them are in on this. And what's most worrying of all, and then I provide the technology that stores the harm. These are mind control, or not mind control, more like shock collars that are so powerful you will do anything to not have it hurt you. Even, and please do not doubt my word here, this technology could control the will of even a dragon. And I strongly believe there may be one under their control.
Dragon?
Yes.
That would be worrying.
Yes. We even know of the name and kind of dragon they are. We know a lot about them. So we are worried that whoever is amassing these creatures and using them, they're gearing up for something big. I would go to their temple, but if the corruption or this sort of this bad stuff, right? If it's more than just one rogue gnome, and it's some more in the organization, I think if we were to arrive at this writ of questioning, they might give us the runaround, and we'd be on their home turf. They could maybe escape us and send word back to their accomplices or whoever. We just don't know. I think if we were to bring whoever is in charge here, not only can they don't have a route of like escape, but you can hear with your own ears who may be responsible, because it's possible none of them are connected, but if they know who it might be, then it would inform you just as it would inform us. However, if you would like us to go there, we can. I'm very nervous. Gnomes are really smart.
I have much to deal with here. I trust in your diplomatic abilities. You got in here and managed to convince me to give up my advisor, did you not?
I will not press further then.
You are adept negotiators. I believe you can handle this. Very well. Are there any further questions of me?
One last. How long ago was your daughter taken?
Oh, I would say, what, Shocky, 3 weeks? Yes, about
3
3 weeks,
weeks.
I believe.
Okay. All right. That's helpful. All right. We will do what we can.
Wonderful. If you need supplies, your deputization will allow you to get yourself a mount if you need over at the Squiggly Wiggly. They have squig mounts you can ride. There is an armor store in the market. You can, if you need arms, things of that nature. But
Can we rewind? Squiggly Wiggly?
have you not heard of squigs? Yes, they are two-legged creatures that you can use for long-range travel. They are quite fast. There's a squig farmer in town.
A squig.
That may explain the tracks that we saw.
I've never heard of a squig, but now I will.
I want to see it though. I need to see it.
I suppose, just to kind of expedite a little bit, I guess we would also describe in fine detail the attack and what we saw, including the tracks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So does he offer more information on what he might think that is?
When he described the tracks, he says, no, that does not sound like a squig at all. They have, well, let me look. I have a picture of one. 1 second. What do they have for feet? That's not it. There it is. They have large padded feet with toes at the end. They're about this big.
I see. All right. It is, these are cybernetic animals. It is possible it might be a modified one.
Potentially.
Anyway, we do not want to take up too much of your time. Does anyone else have anything they want to discuss or address?
No, I think we covered all the bases.
Okay.
Yeah. Would we be able to bring Merritt? What's his name again?
Mythonar?
Mythonar. Will we be able to bring Mythonar with us, or?
With your leave, Highness, I would like to get to know my sister a bit better. Very well. You know you always have a home here, Mythonar. Please bring Toba back. I will, sire. I guess he wouldn't call him sire. I will, chieftain. So Mythonar will go with you on this because he's mostly free to roam about the city and the countryside. He always comes back. But where would you like to go first? To Squig Market or the temple, or where do you want to go? If we have time. We have time?
Let's see. I said an hour from like a half hour ago, so I still think we or like 40 minutes ago. So we still have like at least 20 to 30
Works
minutes.
for me. How about the little temple place? Or
Before,
it's up to you
well,
guys. Where do you want?
I was wondering if I could visit. I mean, I think it's on the way there anyway. Could I visit the market and see if I could buy some things, just some bookkeeping stuff?
Sure. I had a feeling this would happen, so I've got one for you. So you're walking through the market, and I have this here. I'll just load it up. And you're walking around, and you see the hustle bustle of the city streets, and you maybe ask a guard, and they point you to a general store, which is a nice store that has all kinds of foods and supplies called the Gnome Depot. And
Depot.
Yeah, and behind the counter is a gnomish man with a kind of a wild curly mustache and beard and a tall green hat with a feather in it. And when you come in, he looks to you and says, welcome to the Gnome Depot. How can I help you today?
I hate you so much.
I will never get used to the material plane. I just won't.
I can't.
I kind of like it the tower better most days.
All right. Greetings. Would you happen to have in your stock a variety of diamonds? And real diamonds, not cubic zirconium.
Diamonds? What a strange thing to request. And he starts looking around over here, kind of in his random trinkets, and he's looking through, and he says, "I'm not sure if we have diamonds. What on earth do you need, or what on Galarian's name do you need diamonds for?"
I am making jewelry. Is there a jeweler's shop or some sort of ore repository where they cut gems that I might procure these diamonds I desire?
Perhaps. I do not know of any in town, but Wyvernsting is quite large. I'm sure there is something to suit your needs.
Great. And I leave. I have nothing else I want from this man.
Okay.
But I'll let him what they want to do.
Does anyone else need anything at like a general store-ish?
Nah.
No? Okay. I don't have a map for it, but with talking with some guards, you can find a jewelry store. The stuff inside looks similar to the things you saw at the Order in the Quartz back in Fogton, very orcish make type jewelry. The jewelsmith greets you and says, "Good day to you. What can I do for you?"
I need a large quantity of diamonds. They can be uncut as long as they are of high quality.
I believe I can help you with that. Uncut diamonds, you say, how many? And he starts looking through, he's got kind of those like library card things where he's got little shells and little tiny booklets.
Now, we are loaded based on what I remember.
Yeah.
So I'll ask whoever's keeping track of our money. I feel like it's probably Khan, but it could be anybody.
I'll be like, I need can I have 1,000? No, 2,000 gold.
You have more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get like a sack and I'll be like,
how many diamonds can this give me?
Can I have a Druma card, credit card?
Essentially a credit card for being Druma royalty, right? Just put it on the taxpayer. Yeah, with very little effort, you're able to get this guy all the gold you need. And he says, "How many do you need? I can get you all you need for a sack that large."
Well, I don't know. I'll be candid with you. These will hopefully never actually be used. But if I should need them, I want to have a surplus. So honestly, as many as you're willing to part with, if I could clean you out, I'll gladly do that.
Very well. I think I can do that. Let me just look up real quick how much that would be. 2E diamond. Gems and art objects, because of course there's rules for that in Pathfinder.
That's good.
Diamond. Why don't I just control F? Diamond. There we go. 500 GP, so you can get 4 of them. Are they large or can they be small?
It's quantity, and each worth has to be. So essentially, it's this is spell components. I think people can kind of obviously understand. The diamonds have to be worth a total value of a target creature's level times 200 gold pieces. So with 2,000, hopefully I can get 10 levels worth of diamonds, and more. Hopefully, if the guy is literally just well, people here don't like diamonds, so here you could just have more.
Gotcha.
That'd be great.
So yeah, straight up that would be 20 diamonds. But since you're buying so many, he'll give you another 5, so you can have 25 small diamonds.
Okay. And they are worth
100 each.
100 each. Okay. Cool.
So you have 2,500 gold worth of diamonds for 2,000 gold. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Great
also,
stuff. You want to mark that down somewhere?
Yeah. So it's 25 diamonds at 100 gold pieces each.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
I hated cruising by Bremble Twiz I'm so sorry.
Oh, good.
He looked like he was very interesting, but
I created him this morning. He was the last minute addition. I'm not
okay.
too much about it.
I don't feel as bad then.
No, you shouldn't. I added him this morning. So was there anything else you needed at the gem store, or is it just those diamonds?
I think I don't remember. I gotta look at something, but I need to research the spells. There's just so many spells in this game that I don't remember. Onyx gems. Does he have onyx gems? I always remembered that was important for necromancy.
Yeah, I think that's for raise dead or animate dead.
Maybe. I forgot if animate dead used that. Let me see.
If it needs it, you can definitely get some of those from him as well.
Yeah, we can do that out of game.
Yeah, we can do that between sesh. So you're able to get across town after you get your diamonds. Is there anything else anyone needs from stores? We can kind of hand wave.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you get across town, and the guards and gnomes that you see happen upon the street help you along the way, and eventually you do come to a building that is like stone on the outside, and it has a sign in kind of a strange, it's not Gnomish the language, but Gnomish style script, and it says the Temple of Cassandali of Modern Time Artificers. And the door appears to be open. Do you head in? All right. So you open the door and you see this very strange looking place, especially compared to all of the orcish architecture you've been seeing in the rest of Wyvernsting. The place has a stone floor, stone walls, but in the center is a large stone dais with a big gold symbol in the middle. On the left-hand side is a workbench and a very large contraption that seems to have machinery and wires and lights and gizmos and doodads all over it. At the far north side, up on a little pedestal, is an orrery, one of those little things with the balls that go around like a solar system, and a large telescope sticking out of a hole. On the right side are a bunch of wooden pews, it appears. There are two people in here, one of whom is standing in the center near the raised dais. He appears to be an orc, but both of his arms have been replaced by... They are not as advanced as the image I have just shared. They are more like clockwork, but they have both been replaced by prosthetic arms that are made of metal. They have wires, lights, that kind of thing. And the person standing at the workbench is a gnomish man who has a large contraption on his head. It's like a helmet that has little green glass things that go over his eye. There are wires running all around it and lights and little gizmos on it. But as they see you, the first one to notice you is the orc, and he says, "Good day. Welcome. What can we do for you? More glorious dawn to all of you."
I run up and I slam my hands down on the table and I say, "Who's in charge here?"
Oh, I suppose that would be me. My name is Sibling Norman. More glorious dawn to all of you.
And he kind of gives a bow. And Demirius, are you there, Abe? No, okay.
Methinks not.
Methinks not. All right, because that was something he would pick up on. Okay, but yeah, he welcomes you in and he says,
I'm Sibling Norman. What can I do for you?
You can answer a few questions. Like?
Of course.
What the hell is this?
And I throw the harm device onto the table. And I want to make an intimidation check.
Sure,
if I can. I want
to that publicly.
Yeah, I have some portraits out of the way here.
Can I please aid him somehow, some way?
Sure, roll. You can give him the guidance. So I'll add a +1 to that. 32. That's pretty good. So Norman goes, and he as you throw the device down on the table, and he picks it up and he goes,
"Oh, hey, Gramadaya, Sibling Gramadaya, look at this!"
And the orc comes over and he walks over and says, "Ah, a more glorious dawn to you. Well, what is it, sibling Norman?" And he takes it and he looks and he goes, "Oh, look how big it is." And Norman looks to you and he says, "Oh, it's like one of our battery packs." And he turns his head and he points to, in the side of his helmet, there's okay, the best way I've thought to describe this is, you know how like there's a D battery and there's A batteries and AA batteries. If the device you found in the Eagle is like a D battery, what he has in his helmet is like a AAA, real thin and sleek and small, and it's plugged in, and he's got like 4 of them up in his helmet. And he says,
It powers our devices. This is just a power device. Where did you find this old model, silly?
Can I want to sense his motive here. I know that's not a
"Perception in the
skill
tower,
anymore.
please." It's all perception.
Uh,
And while you're doing that, I want to say, Demirius, again, Abe, I saw you moving.
Yeah.
Are you there, Abe? Okay,
Yeah,
you're there.
sorry.
You would have noticed something really weird. They keep saying "a more glorious dawn" to all of you.
Yeah.
And to you specifically, as a cleric, a paladin cleric of Sarenrae, that sounds really weird. Because, and I ahead of time, I thought of a comparison for you. It's sort of like, you know how some people say heaven bless you, you know, as like a greeting. This would be like if you were like Catholic and used to hearing heaven bless you, and then someone were to come up to you and say, "May super heaven ultra bless you." Like, that's what it sounds like to your ears. It's like, "Oh yeah, super heaven and ultra blessing." They're saying a more glorious dawn. Like, what could possibly be more glorious than dawn, right?
Yeah, like there's
Like,
nothing
it
beyond
sounds-
that. Like
yeah, there's
it's not
exactly.
extra brightness is not going to come from this area.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point out that sounds particularly ridiculous to you. So Zavid, you were doing a vibe check basically.
yeah. Is this guy hiding anything from me here? Does it seem like he's trying to cover his ass? Like he doesn't
No.
recognize this?
He doesn't seem to be trying to hide anything, but you do pick up on that he's kind of creepy. Both of them are weird. They're continuously smiling the entire time you're talking to them. They never really drop the niceness in their voice. They're too nice. It's creepy. Very
they're
creepy.
So this is giving me a different ping here now.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm looking at my stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put the screws in this guy. We're gonna figure out who it was that made this thing. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, I was in a cult. This is a cult. This is totally a cult. Like I know what this is.
Yes, I'm not even gonna make you roll. You are absolutely correct. These guys are brainwashed cultists. There is not a thought in their head. You recognize this behavior. You recognize that smile. You recognize that dead-eyed stare that they're giving you.
I stay silent for a moment.
I am so sorry I came on a bit strong.
Oh, of course, brother. There's nothing wrong with that. Bygones can be bygones in her light.
Sorry, Ash. It seemed like you wanted to interject.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna send a quick message to Zavid. Do you mind if I try to pretend that I would be interested in knowing about their cult leader?
I'll message back like, I'll try something first and we'll see where we get with that. And if that doesn't work, we'll do your plan. I have an idea.
And I'll say to him,
So, your organization here, I've heard you were refugees. Why have you left where you hailed from?
Oh, well, after the attack of the Linorn Kings, we had to abandon the gnomish cities up to the north. The only place that would take us was down here in Wyvernsting. The majority of the orcs don't really like us smalls. They think we're weak, but Chief Halfman's been very accommodating.
Yes. Now, do you all have a centralized leadership? And if so, who would be your leader?
Oh, well, that would be Artifex Finibus, of course. Oh, yeah, of course. All hail Artifex.
And
Artifacts? Where does Artifacts reside?
Oh, I've never met the Artifex myself. Last I heard, he was up in our cities, but he had to evacuate with us as well during the wars. He's probably somewhere in Belkson, but I've never met him myself.
And I look at the other guy. I'm like, you've never seen him even?
We do have these. And he goes off and gets a little machine, and it's just a little thing that he holds in his hand, and it's got kind of a mesh on top, and he pushes a little button on it, and you kind of hear a voice coming out of it. It's sort of like just a little recorder, and you hear a voice coming out of it, and you get the sense that it's a recording of the artifacts giving a sermon, that kind of thing. And he skips to a part, and you just hear this voice coming through that I know that your characters don't know what this word means, but the players know what this word means. It's very robot-y. It's very electric and tinny that comes through, but you hear still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise. But
Carl Sagan, are you kidding me?
Evil Carl Sagan, that's right. Deal with it.
Oh, I immediately recognized that.
Good.
Oh, I cannot believe you did this. Oh.
That's right. Evil Carl Sagan.
If I may ask, what is this most glorious dawn you speak of? I don't believe I've heard of it.
Well, that would be the galaxy rise. The rising of the God Sea.
And you've heard of the God Sea. It's when you look up into the sky, it's just kind of a smearing of stars. It's not a particular star. It'd be like saying watching the Milky Way rise, essentially.
Okay. Do you follow a particular deity that has anything to do with that?
Oh, well, that would be the Lady of Information, Cassandra Lee. She's leading everyone to a more glorious dawn.
Okay. Have I
All right.
heard of this?
Did we make religion checks to see if we...
you haven't. Earlier you did, but no one figured it out. So go ahead and do another one now that you're kind of here and getting actual information.
Yeah, maybe it's not the name, but the site and the sort of something else could jog our memory.
I'll roll for Danny.
Which check?
Religion in the tower.
Religion. No promises.
Oddly, Danny's the one who figured it out with a nat 20. In the years and years you were trapped in that tower, you read thousands and thousands of books. And you recall hearing about Cassandra Lee. She's a weird deity, one of the newer ones that you don't recall much detail about her, but she's sort of, her domains are like knowledge, information, intelligence, problem solving, that kind of thing. But she's, then that's about all you get. Yeah, she's a newer goddess of information.
And I pass this. Fascinated by the goddess of information because she does love information. She relays this this knowledge back to everybody else.
All right. Okay. I can grasp that. What does your religious group say about using this technology to steal the free will away from other creatures to make them do your bidding? Is that allowed? Is that encouraged?
Well, no, silly. That would be against her light. Everyone who wants to join her light has to do so voluntarily.
I'm gonna call
the two
Rock
of them are
Trot,
laughing back and forth to each other.
and I want Rock Trot to come into this place with the cart and the wolf with the stuff on it, and have Rock Trot stop like in the middle, and I'll be like, "So what do you make of this?"
And they both look at it, and for a moment, their smiles kind of, but then you can see them kind of go, oh, my brother, I don't know what to make of this. That's the gosh darndest thing I've ever seen. Oh, golly darns, I haven't seen nothing like that.
Okay.
You're welcome to roll perception if you'd like.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you describe the thing that's on their head, please?
The thing on his head, yeah, it is like a helmet that has little glass, like almost like glasses, but they're green going over one of his eyes, and there's wires and lights. I can actually send you a picture on Discord.
Does the orc have one on too?
He does not have one on his head, no, but both of his arms were replaced. And there you go. I just sent you pictures in Discord. But both of his arms have been replaced with like mechanical prosthetics.
Can I see anybody else here with similar, like, robotic body parts?
There's no one else in the temple at the moment. It's just sibling Norman and sibling Grumadiah.
Is there more of you guys, or is it just you two?
Well, there's more some days, but usually it's just us around here. We're the two that live here.
Yeah, well, most of the people come in for sermons once a week, but we stay and keep the place running.
We didn't get any. Sorry, we didn't get any weird vibe checks from those perceptions.
Oh, right. Sorry. Demirius is kind of the only one who picks up on it. Actually, to all of you, they appear to be telling the truth that they don't know what that is. But Demirius, you're the one who picked up on their facial expression that kind of changed as they were saying it, because their smile that they've had this whole time as they looked at the creature dropped ever so slightly, but then it was almost as if someone went like this and pushed it back, and they were like, gosh, golly darn, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's almost like a mysterious hand is doing this to them at this point. But Demirius is the only one who picked up on that.
Enough of the games. Tell us what you know about this. I'll attempt to intimidate.
Okay, give me an intimidate just publicly. Ooh, that was real good. And you see them looking at each other, and they're both they're still smiling, and they're just like, we don't know anything about this. Gosh, golly, darn, doodly, diddly. And at this point, you can kind of see the wiring on Norman's helmet is starting to sizzle a little bit, but he's still smiling through it, going, "Don't have any idea what any of this you're talking about." But you can absolutely see the circuitry on his helmet sizzling.
I think I understand what needs to happen. So, do I know enough about this device and how it works with crafting and my ability to do harm and things that I might be able to pop them off these guys?
Khan would probably be much
You
more
probably
suited for that.
you probably could. You could probably overload it by short-circuiting it with a harm spell directly to, like, because you can see them. He showed you. There's like four.
Yeah.
I guess they're like AAA battery size, whereas the one you found is more like a D cell. There's like four of them right about here that you could probably just. Buzz.
I'm gonna look over at Khan and Demirius, and I say, would both of you kindly hold the appropriately sized person down so that they cannot run away?
Still, no problem.
I was thinking the same thing.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, sibling? This is quite. Is this one of your Outlander games?
Yes,
There's nothing to worry. I mean you no harm. I'm just very interested in this wonderful technology.
And I'll go to the shorty first, and I have 2 harms left today, so 1 harm to his.
And yeah, you see the energy go directly into it, and all four of them they pop out of the back of his helmet, and you see the smile. What did you do to me?
One moment, and then I do the same thing to sibling, whatever his name is, and I'm out of harms.
Yeah, and they pop from his shoulders, and he also loses the smile. He's what? Norman, where are we? What? And then Norman looks up at you all and says, What just happened?
Hi.
Rubbing his ears.
Welcome back to the land of the living without all the extra stuff. You were inducted into a cult. Don't worry, I know what that's like.
You too drank the Kool-Aid.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad.
The artifacts did offer us flavor aid as a
Oh no,
as a
stay
way
away
to
from
continue.
flavor. They say, oh yeah, but you should say, oh no. All right, why don't you both take a seat? We have some things we need to discuss.
And they do so. They kind of both. They're holding their heads and Norman, are you all right? Yeah, yes, Norman, I'm okay. And so they both kind of sit down on the center here on the stone.
Now, I don't know what you remember. I don't know how much of what you've done in the past, however long you've been a part of this organization, was you, and how much was something you were compelled to do. Perhaps you could give me a bit of your experience wearing this device and what that was like and what you remember.
I remember that after the evacuation, during the escape, I was hit in the head in the eye with an arrow. It claimed it, and when we escaped into Belkson and set up in Wyvernsting, the Artificers Without Borders, they said they would fix my eye for me, and they did without charge. I just had to wear this device, and it fixed my sight. But wow, how long have I been here?
Probably very long. Every time Ash and I have been like constantly accidentally talking over each other. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I like private messenger. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yes, but it's the funny thing. It's like the same brainwave, so we're like saying the same thing.
Yep.
All right. Here's what I believe is going on. The leader of your organization, what was his name again?
Artifex Finibus.
Artifex.
Lastwick Artifex.
Lastwick Artifex. I believe he is not as kind as he likes to make himself appear. We found these devices larger on that wolf, a bear, some large, was it a wyvern?
An eagle.
Like an eagle. And we know they have one on a dragon.
Oh, a dragon.
And you don't even really remember much of what happened when you had that on.
Oh.
These things are used to control the behaviors and actions of whatever they're connected to, which is pretty morally awful. Now, I raised the dead, but they're already like not, it's like they're dead. They're just a body, and I'm making the body do what I want. The soul's gone. The soul's not trapped within. Well, Rot Trot does what I want because we have like a bond. That's different. But like most undead, I don't, anyway. My point being, it's mind control.
Fun topic.
Fun topic. It's mind control. And you, unfortunately, were victims of it. Now, unfortunately, we have a very, very... We think it is most likely that this artifact is using... Either they took over it or they founded this. Do you know if they founded it or took over the Artificers Without Borders?
I believe they founded it long ago. They've been around for many years.
I don't know if it's the original or an imposter. You've never seen them, so we have no way of verifying this, but you've heard that voice. I believe whoever is responsible for this is misusing the whole message. And by offering these cybernetic implants, they are... co-opting the behaviors of you. You both have them in your heads, right? So this is, if someone had it just in their arm, that's not going to be
But then that's the thing you realize suddenly, is that Brother Grumadias, his was up here in his arm. He didn't have one up here on his head like the gnome did, but he was still all smiles until you broke the power cores in his arms.
Is the make of their cybernetics more advanced than what we saw on?
Yes.
Okay, so Glasha had like bargain bin regular prosthetic and not mind control shit.
Here's a good way to put it. The Eagle had the original iPod. Glasha had the iPhone 3. These guys have got the iPhone 10.
But the Eagle was still being controlled.
The Eagles was like old tech.
Slowly advancing.
Yeah, you're seeing an advancement in the tech across these things. So you're kind of getting the sense that they were testing on animals with the first gen, and then testing on more like wild animals in the first gen, and then testing on trained battle animals in the second gen, and then in the third gen they actually put them on orcs and gnomes like people,
like veterans and stuff like that.
This is
like veterans, exactly.
I feel like we've turned over a rock and it's just an underbelly of stuff, and I'm like, I wasn't prepared to deal with all of that. Yeah. I think we need to like have a team huddle and figure out what we want to do. Personally, like we still need to rest. I think now that we've like rescued these two, Khan and I could use our crafting to try to figure out how this more advanced technology works, and also if there's any sort of I'm interested, just like I have the status spell where I can kind of track where people are. I want to know if they have stuff like that, spy technology where they could be overheard because they have a cybernetic, or just like a homing device type of situation, or any sort of communication device to alert back to their like leadership figures. I want to figure that out now, because
actually, if that's the case, if we broke them now and they're conscious of what they were doing, that might alert other people, might bring more back.
We need to rest, but we also need answers, and unfortunately you two, I'm not sure how qualified you are to be able to give us these answers when you were sort of in a stupor this whole time.
Yes, everything is so fuzzy.
Do you think maybe I could try to read their minds and maybe probe their memories enough?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
More mind control.
More mind control.
It's like, oh, you thought the mind control device hurt. Check this out.
So
See
yeah,
what's going on in there.
They're going to be willing because they don't know what they know, so they're trying to remember, and they want to help, and they want to remember, so they're going to willingly let you do this. So there's no roll or saving throw needed, and the first thing you get is just fog, a confusion. Like, even to you, it's almost like it hits you. You know how when you go outside it's really, really humid and cold and it just hits you like a wall? It's almost like that. But you wade through, and the first thing you get is just happy, 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 smile, smile, now, do it, smile. That's the kind of the first thing in your brain.
As because I'm going to be speaking like through this whole thing, so that way everyone else can like hear what I'm seeing. And as I'm hearing the happiness, it's like, oh, these sound like this horrible cult that I'm actually a very big fan of because they have great stories, but it's absolutely a cult, and it's called Didney. Yeah.
Side DM note, this cult is based off of two real life religions. One is a cult, one is more of a religion, but yeah, it's based on two real life things.
Gotcha.
but
like the happiness is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's saccharine, it's sickening, it's false, it's fake happy, but you're able to kind of wade through the fog, as you're pushing deeper and deeper, you kind of pierce through that you're happy, and sort of down deeper into the, uh, and you start to think of, I'm trying to think of how much these guys would know. Uh, they know that you start to see. Okay, remember when COVID vaccines first came out and there was lines down the street for vaccines? You start to see images of orcs and gnomes in lines just as far as you can see down the streets. But every one of them, an orc is missing an arm, one is missing a leg, a gnome has, missing an eye. Every single one of them is missing, is mangled in some way or another hurt. You've going through and you see all of these people getting prosthetics, mechanical arms, digital eyes, legs. You see lots and lots of it. You get the sense that whatever they were escaping was brutal, but it was very needed for these people. Otherwise, they would be living with horrible disfigurements. And you're seeing them get their prosthetics.
Can I see? Okay, so I see all of the people getting their prosthetics, but can I see when they get to the counter, or essentially the clinic? Can I see inside? Like, what do they see when they get into the clinic?
It's pretty nice. It's just like a regular medical clinic type thing, and they go into the back and come out, and they have several gnomes, outfitted like nurses, basically, and nurses and doctors, and they attach the pieces. They connect nerves and muscles and bones, and each one of them, you do notice that at the very end, each one of them picks up maybe 3, 4, 5 of those little battery things and plug them into somewhere. Every single one gets those batteries.
Okay. Can I see anything like the doctor that's doing the surgeries?
Yes, she is a gnome. I have a picture, but I'm not going to share it. I just want to look at it and describe it. Let me see really quick. Come on, open. Okay. Yes, you see a gnome with, let's see, I'm going to call that lavender hair. It's kind of purple, and it's got one stripe of white, and it kind of swoops over to the side like Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls, but it's very bright and purple. She's got long purple eyebrows as well. But she seems to be very focused and very quick at what she does. In addition to having her regular hands, she also has some mechanical robot-y ones that come over her shoulders that help her work as she's doing it.
Okay. Anything else I should try to look for? Savid, Khan, Demirius?
Anyone who looks like a leadership figure would be really helpful.
I start to explain what this gnome doctor looks like. Baby?
It doesn't seem like she would be the leader. She seems like a doctor, but pushing further and further, you hear that voice again, that that more glorious dawn voice, robotic, echoey, tinny voice coming in around you, and eventually it comes and coalesces into the shape of a cloaked figure. He appears to be a gnome in a red cloak. But beyond that, you can't get a good look at his face, because it's clear that neither of these two people have actually ever seen him. They have they've heard his voice. You hear it echoing around you. Lots of different quotes and such, but yeah, you hear that voice a lot, but you can't get a picture on his face.
So, if they have any sort of communication device, if they're part of a sort of chain of command, that would be more recent memory, like something they would be doing more frequently, like frequent check-ins. If there's something like that in here, or if there's any sort of surveillance in here, we would like to know that too.
Yeah, you poke around in Garumadaya's head, and you find that they do give weekly updates on the amount of people that come in, the number of converts, if any, and the number of suggestions for prosthetic gains. So people come to here to, make an appointment to gain their free prosthetic. So they do send out reports, essentially.
Okay. Is there a terminal or something that we would have to interact with to like figure out how they do that? Because I'm guessing, I mean, maybe they are, but like they seem like regular people, not like magical, like they're casting sending and stuff. So like, is there some sort of magical device that they're using, or?
Sibling Norman goes and gets the device, and it is a little artificer type device. It's got gears and gizmos all over it, and he says, "Oh, this is how we normally report in. You spin this gizmo here," and he goes into a lengthy explanation, unnecessary, about how it works, and then they can pick it up on the other end, and we just give them the numbers. I don't actually know where they are located.
I guess, can I assist Khan in trying to figure out how this thing works?
Yeah. Both of you go. Zavid first. Both of you give me public crafting checks. Con, let's see, 27. That's a crit. So, or not a crit. So just add 2.
Gotcha.
Oh,
my god.
Oh, a 44.
46.
20. Yikes! Look at that. Oh, yeah. So, I'm sorry. What were you doing again?
Now we know everything.
If we know how this thing works, Zavid's trying to figure out if we could use this to pinpoint where it's connected to.
Gotcha. Yeah, with that check, Con, you're pretty readily able to figure out that this is just it's a radio. It's a quartz radio. So you would be able to kind of triangulate a general direction if you were able to find like another one. But with this one by itself, you could maybe get a general, north-south type direction.
I'm guessing south.
You're correct. It is south.
So everything.
How big is this thing? Sorry. How big is this device?
Oh, it's radio. So like a ham radio, about this big.
Okay.
It's literally it's literally a ham radio.
All right. So, here's what I suggest. You two need to rest. I advise that you stay here and just pretend like everything's normal. Keep going about your business. You don't have to smile, but if people come in to get prosthetics, just say you're closed and you can't do it. We should probably tell this to Mr. Halfman and let him know what's going on here. We need lodging, we need the rest, and I think we need to, if it's possible, Khan, do you think we could use this as a sort of device to detect if we're getting closer or further away from, or to pinpoint the direction of where a signal is coming from?
Oh, I can give the general direction, but I don't know if I could necessarily pinpoint anything. But south is the direction to go.
Okay. We've got a lot of coals in the fire here, so I think we're going to need to find a safe place for us to plan out our next move.
Well, there's definitely lodging here in town. You should have no problem finding an inn for the night.
Thank you for being understanding of us yanking you out of the brainwashing.
Thank you for doing the yanking. My cheeks hurt.
Yeah, I guess this might be a good place to.
Yeah, this is probably a good place for us to stop for now. We'll kind of hand wave you finding an inn. That's no issue. It's a huge city. But yeah, we hope everyone. We have got a lot of stuff coming up. Ash, you want to talk about Jasper's?
Yeah, so starting early, I say early, probably middle of this month, we're going to have our auctions going up for our second Jasper's Game Day event, where some of these amazing faces can be seen doing some really great things for a really amazing organization that does so much for raising awareness for mental health, as well as raising money to prevent suicide, especially in adolescents. So we are going to be seeing a lot of amazing content creators and DMs, and oh my god, I'm so excited. On December 9th through the 11th. First one will start at 12 p.m. EST on December 9th, and we'll go through the night till, hold on, the 11th at, well, technically it would be like more like the 12th, 1:30 a.m. EST. So if you would like to join us, please feel free to make sure to check up all our social medias. The Bard's Playhouse is where you're gonna find all of the newest like updates and stuff. So we'll keep you guys all updated. And yeah, we hope to see your lovely faces at one of our tables.
Yeah, hope too. Anyone else have anything to plug? No. All right. Well, we're probably gonna miss a couple of weeks here and there because of Jasper's, because everyone's gonna be busy. But we'll play when we play, and the holidays. But we will be back when we're back. We'll try. I don't know when. December's gonna be November. December's gonna be wild. But stick with it. We hope that you'll join us. We're glad you were here today, and we will see you all next time. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Who goes there? Why you dummies always coming in my lair like you want the smoke? All these wannabe heroes are never prepared for the nightmare and despair that they dare to provoke. Most folk are doing their best to avoid me. Floor full of bones of the people that annoy me. Every now and then I get a couple of daredevils with the audacity to think that they can destroy me. Good luck with that, man. I got panoramic vision, meaning that I can see in any direction with precision. If it's your decision to attack, I suggest that you come back when your plans had a bit of revision to it. Notably, you should accept defeat. Consider this your last opportunity to retreat. Repeat, that was your last chance to survive. I hope that you enjoyed your time being alive.
You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder.
I am the tyrant, get it? I've actually been told that I'm a pretty funny guy. Wait a minute, what were we discussing? I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's right, you were just about to die. How can I forget that? It's my favorite part. The only thing left to consider is where to start. In addition to magical abilities, I'm smart. I can make your demise art. Anyway, it appears that the wizard in your party is a gnome who was worth about the same as if he would have stayed at home. I'll activate my anti-magic cone, and in a moment I'll turn him into stone. When the barbarian inevitably flies into rage, I'll disintegrate her with one of my eye rays. By the way, I haven't even begun to try. Fly by and take a bite of the fighter's thigh.
You foolish for ignore the warning. Now you'll be dead before the morning. You should've looked over your shoulder. You're in the eye of the beholder.
While the fighter attempts to collect himself, he bleeds out on the space I dismembered him in. I wouldn't waste time telling me your names. I can guarantee that nobody's ever gonna remember them. Then again, you'll be on the list of my victims at the bottom of a column of other anonymous prey. You should take a minute to reflect on the day and the last words you'll ever say. Time's up. You're the lone survivor, the last one left. And halfling rogues are a bit of